There is a forest far beyond the last village road where something unusual happens. Anything you imagine becomes real, instantly, exactly as you think it. And there are only two rules. You cannot stop imagining, and whatever you imagine will appear.
Harris didn't believe the stories, so he went in. At first, nothing, just trees, wind, silence. Then a simple thought crossed his mind. What if a wolf appears right now? A branch snapped. A wolf stepped out. Same shape, same eyes, same size he imagined. Harris froze. "Okay," he said quietly. The wolf growled. He stepped back. But now his mind raced. What if it attacks? It lunged. What if there are more? Two more appeared. No, stop! He ran, and the faster he ran, the worse his thoughts became.
Just before the wolves reached him, they vanished. All of them. Gone. Harris stopped, breathing heavily. A voice came from behind him. "You think too loudly." He turned. A girl stood there, calm, still, watching him like she had been there the whole time. She didn't look surprised. She didn't look scared. She just looked at him. "How did you do that?" Harris asked. "I didn't create them," she said, "so I don't keep them." "What?" She stepped closer. "I imagined something else." Up close, Harris noticed something strange. She felt slightly distant, not physically, but like she wasn't fully part of the place. "I'm Sana," she said. "Harris." She nodded once. "I know." He frowned slightly. "I didn't tell you yet." She didn't answer. They began walking. Harris noticed she stayed just half a step ahead of him, not too close, not too far. "New people always panic first," Sana said. "And you?" Harris asked. "You didn't?" "I did," she said calmly, "a long time ago." There was a short silence. Then Harris said, "You could have just left me." Sana glanced at him briefly. "I thought about it." Another pause. "But you looked like you wouldn't last 5 minutes." For the first time, Harris smiled slightly. Sana handed him an invisible task. "Imagine an apple." He did. It appeared. He looked at her. She nodded. "Good, now remove it." It disappeared. Harris exhaled slowly. "Okay, this is real." Sana watched him, not just what he did, but how he reacted. "You're calmer now," Sana said. "I have to be," Harris replied, "or I'll create something worse." Sana looked ahead. "Yes," she said quietly, "you will." As they walked, Harris saw impossible things. Floating platforms, strange glowing birds, a staircase leading into nothing. "Other people?" he asked. Sana nodded. "Leftovers." Leftovers? Things people imagined and couldn't undo. Harris glanced at her. "And you?" She didn't respond. The ground shook. A massive stone giant appeared ahead, cracked, glowing, heavy. Harris instinctively stepped closer to Sana, just slightly. He didn't notice, but she did. "It's not real," she said. "It looks very real. It exists because someone imagined it." The giant moved. "Can we remove it?" Harris asked. Sana looked at him. "Not remove, replace." "Imagine something stronger," she said. Harris closed his eyes. He imagined a calm giant, controlled, stable. When he opened his eyes, it stood there, between them and the threat. The two giants collided. The bad one shattered. Silence returned. Harris let out a breath. "I think I'm starting to understand." Sana nodded,
but her eyes stayed on him a moment longer than necessary. They kept walking. At one point, Haris stumbled slightly. Sana reached out instinctively. Her hand touched his wrist just for a second, then she quickly pulled it back. "Watch your step," she said. Her tone was normal, but she didn't look at him immediately after. Haris noticed, but didn't say anything. They found the man surrounded by chaos, everything appearing at once: fire, ice, creatures. Sana stopped. "She's gone too far," she said. Harris stepped forward. "No," he said, "he just needs focus." Sana watched him carefully as Harris helped the man calm his thoughts, and it worked. When the chaos disappeared, Sana looked at Harris differently. Not surprised, not curious, just quietly observing. "There's only one way out," Sana said. "You imagine it." Harris closed his eyes. A path appeared, clear, bright, leading out. He looked at her. "That's it? That's it." Harris stepped toward the path, then stopped. "What about you?" "I'll stay," she said. "You don't have to." Sana looked at him. For a moment, she seemed unsure. Very slightly. "You could come," Harris added. Silence. Wind moved through the trees. For the first time, she stepped closer to him. Not halfway. Fully. "I don't belong outside," she said quietly. "Why?" She didn't answer. Harris looked at her carefully. "Since I met you, you always knew things before I said them." She stayed silent. "You knew my name." Still nothing. "And you're not scared of anything here." Sana finally spoke. "I am," she said. "Then what scares you?" She looked at him. "Leaving." Harris nodded slowly. "Okay." He turned toward the path, then paused again. "Will I see you again?" Sana didn't answer directly. Instead, she said, "If you imagine me." She stopped mid-sentence, then shook her head slightly. "No," she corrected. "Don't do that." Haris took a step forward. Then something made him look back. Sana was standing still, watching him, exactly where he left her. But something felt off. Not her face, not her expression, not human, not natural. Haris froze. Sana noticed. For a moment, neither of them spoke. Then she said quietly, "Now you understand." "You're not human," Haris said. "No."
A spirit?
She didn't deny it. "I was never trapped here," she said. "I'm part of this place." Haris swallowed. "Then why help me?" Sana looked at him. For the first time, there was something vulnerable in her expression. "I don't know," she said honestly. Haris stepped onto the path. Light surrounded him. The forest faded, and he was gone. Sana stood alone. The forest returned to silence. After a few seconds, she turned to leave. But just before she disappeared, she paused. And for the first time, she imagined something. A path, leading outward. It flickered, unstable, then vanished. Sana looked at where it had been and said quietly, "Not yet." In a place where imagination becomes reality, some feelings are still harder to create. Your imagination is always building something. The question is, are you choosing what it builds?